Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marnise Nicole and I'm an acrylic painter. And today I am finally excitedly going to start my every single shade project. So, I was a little bit of a art hoarder. I like to buy paints, especially the paints that I know I'm going to be using often. I will double buy paints. And this lovely 12 drawer system thingy holds all of my acrylic paints and general art supplies. And so if you checked out my art tour, there was a section of it where I went through each of these drawers and how they are set up. Basically on this side of my setup and drawer set, there are all acrylic paints. They are all divided by kind of color tones and temperatures, starting with just a simple black, white, and metallic drawer, and then ending with my brown drawer, which I've taken out because we're gonna start with brown. So it is my intention to, one, just go through all of the paints I have so that I know what paints I have, I know how they interact with other colors, and I know what kind of tones they have, so that when I am painting and creating art, I no longer have to kind of like jump into my drawers and figure out what I'm doing. No, I know what I'm looking for because I'm familiar with the color and the tone. Especially a lot of these paints I haven't used in over a year. In the beginning of 2020, I started painting again for the first time in over a year. And even though it's been 6 months since then, because of my work schedule and I'm also getting a master's degree in just regular life, coronavirus, Black Lives Matter, protesting, everything like that, I have not been painting significantly. So I've done a few things. I worked on my self-portrait painting challenge that will be tagged up here. I did some sketches and stuff, but I haven't really dived into all of the products that I have. So I really want to just familiarize myself with my products that I have. So that's number one, goal number one. Number two, I really want to actively start using my paints again, and this is a great way for me to do that. I'm going to be able to play around with these colors, maybe come around with some new kind of concept ideas, and just really learn and grow within my stash of art supplies. Goal number three is really simple. I want to use the things that I have, and I really want to do like color studies, which kind of plays into goal number two and one. But when I just finished my sketchbook analyst, I used to do these studies where I would pick one color and just create art with it and see what I could do with it. This was great for practicing with building depth in photos and paintings. It was great for like learning the color tones and the temperatures and how to create, you know, more complex paintings without leaning into color. It's something that I do a lot, leaning into millions of colors, but just taking it back to basics and just working with one color selection and one shade, it would be, I feel like, really beneficial for my personal art journey. So I really want to jump into that. Now, that being said, there are quite a few artists that practice this kind of one single shade type of kind of concept. So definitely credit where it's due. I'm going to link down below the ones I myself personally watched, and then any ones that I can really recommend or think about. For example, Ray from Super Ray Dazzle or Dazzle Ray, she's gonna be linked down below. I know Drawing Waffles, she's done a few of these different color selections, so they'll be linked down below because credit where credit is due. They definitely inspired me to do this challenge and take a look at my own collection. So that is the background. So I decided to start with my drawer that I use most frequently, and this is going to be my brown skin tone drawer. It is mostly browns, a few other colors as well, but mostly the things that I use to create skin tones. It's the drawer I reach for the most because I personally like to paint people of color, because I am a person of color. Most of my subjects are Black women. Most of my subjects have, you know, complexions of some kind. I also like to paint a lot of forest scenes, which means I'm painting a lot of trees, which means I'm painting a lot of wood. And wood is very complex. I personally don't stick to realism at all, so my trees look really weird. But even still, it makes me grab a lot of browns. Now, we're gonna take a look at my collection. Let's lean you in. Okay, so that's a little better. I have you leaned in. I have already set down and taped down some paper. This is my canvas paper. I have 100 sheets of Canson canvas paper. It is mixed media paper specifically. I think it was about 260 grams. But basically it's like the Canson sketchbook, but just loose leaf, and have this taped down because that's what we are going to be documenting our process on. And so what my intention is to first swatch all of these lovely colors, figure out what I have, discuss the colors I have or any colors that I want, and then we're going to try to create some type of art with all of these lovely colors. So I have a selection of 4 brands. I have Golden Artist Acrylics. I have Carvin Arts. Of course, I have Liquitex. And then finally, I have this one tone of Brie Reese. Total, I have 11 shades in this drawer. I know I can mix any color that I absolutely need, but honestly, I like to purchase art supplies and have them ready and have a consistent color base to choose from. But these are the selections that I have. I have some duplicates. I have 2 flesh ochres because I use this a lot. I use this so much in skin tones. I use this a lot for highlights when I don't want it to be a stark white. So we have that. And this brand is a Carvin Artist brand. It is French, and it was established in, I believe, the 1800s sometime. And really, really creamy, buttery paints, starting with the Raw Umber. This is Light Fast 1, Series 1, 2 fluid ounces. I have about a fluid ounce left of this. This is a very dark brown. And I want to say that it's very warm in tone. It also has very much a hint of red in it. It is a matte finish and it's very, very opaque. And so here is it on the brush. Very, very dark. It's almost as dark as the bristles. So let's just swatch that over here. I do want to go back and also mix these with white so we can see what kind of tone that create. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. Now for all of my mixes, I'm going to use titanium white, and I'm going to use the Matisse brand, Dervin Matisse brand. This is an Australian brand. This is a very heavy body paint. I go through these tubes so much. Jerry Artaramas, you can always get 3 for 1 of this titanium white, and it makes it so much more affordable and it lasts a long time. But yeah, I'm gonna use this to mix all of my coloring. Bringing you a little closer, I have this brown here, and I'm just gonna mix just a hint of white and see what that gets. Okay, and so that brings you a little more gray, kind of ash tone brown. And we'll just swatch that right next to it. And now finally adding just a lot more white, get this really pale. Let's see what we get here. And then we will go ahead and put that right next to that. And so there we have this color right here. Next we have this color. This is Mars Yellow. This is technically should be in my yellow drawer, but this is a very warm tone yellow. It's almost a little orange. It's definitely like more in the brown, orange, red family, but it is definitely something that I would use for skin tones. Color itself almost reminds me of like a very warm toned or yellow toned brick, or what you would see like maybe housing or stone, that sort of thing. It's very like, I don't know, warm tone. I guess that's the whole point. I love using this for skin tones just because of how rich the color is. It's an excellent base to start with. This is also Golden Acrylics, of course. So there's that. It kind of swerves out. And then here we have our swatch. And then of course we're gonna add just a hint of white. Now with the hint of white, it's definitely more that brick color. And then totally pasteled out, it ends up being very pale. Now, when you make this whited out, it almost ends up being very similar to the Charvin Arts Flesh Ochre because it is a very fleshy tone. It has definitely a lot of red undertones in it, and so when you white it out, you're getting it down to this base skin complexion, and actually, it could be my skin tone actually. So that is that. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties while I was filming the swatches. Just the camera just would not pick up on the color at all. It just got really white looking with the lights, and I tried to adjust it and it was a whole thing. So we're just gonna talk through the swatches and see what I've learned. Firstly, I've learned that this color is completely dried in the tube and I can't even get the tube cap off. So that's this Diaries. I don't know if that's my error or how I closed it up originally or what, but it's like difficult to even untwist. So we're gonna move away from this. I'm gonna have to repurchase this. It's also been sitting in a drawer for like almost 2 years of non-use, so it's okay. Rest in peace. We will rebuy you. This will go in my empties drawer that I have for my art supply. So there's that. Going through the Liquitex swatches. So we had burnt sienna, burnt umber, raw sienna, and raw umber. These actually ended up being my most transparent shades. They were not opaque at all, but they did have some type of transparency to them, wherein I would imagine these shades specifically need to have a few more layers when putting them down. At least that's what I felt when I was swatching them. They all have like a strong pigment base, and they are all very well used and very well loved. And so these all will have to be replaced eventually. They all have between a half and maybe like a fourth left of paint in them, and I've had these for a really long time. I want to say these are coming around maybe 2 years as well that I've had these paints, but yeah, they seem to be a little more transparent. The most surprising color was this color to me because of how it interacted with the titanium white. It turned into a very almost peachy yellow color, and that surprised me because when I grabbed this color, I'm always looking to go and get a yellow undertone. It is Mars yellow, but also it has a red undertone and is very similar to brick in color. So I have been grabbing this unintentionally and using it the wrong way. There's that. And so those are really the only major surprises. The rest of these kind of went true to form. And so with these shades, now I want to create some art. And so now I'm going to go around and paint something. Okay guys, so this is the final project. I did an outside kind of coffee-esque scene with a bunch of windows and lights. I did all of the sketching in that raw and so all of the main shadows that you see throughout the picture, the coffee sun outlines for the curtains and the lights and the tables, that's all mainly done with this raw umber right here. And then, of course, I use heavily this red ochre, which is from Charvin. The red ochre, which is right here, that is what I leaned into primarily. What I found when making this sketch specifically is that I preferred the burnt umber and raw umber from the Liquitex brand when it came to mixing in with the white and mixing in with the colors like the flesh ochre to get different various shades. But when I wanted straight pigment, I reached more towards the raw umber that I had for the golden acrylic, so for like line work and that sort of thing. And I actually ended up using quite a lot of the raw sienna and the Mars yellow without actually reaching a lot for the Charvin art. So that was all very interesting. But now I have a clear example of every color and every single shade that I worked with. I have my swatches here I can use for reference, and I have created some artwork for the first time in weeks. If you have a particular color family you'd like me to look at, reds, oranges, blues, definitely let me know below. Otherwise, I'll probably move on just to my white section, my next most used section, which is my kind of black and white and metallic section. So anyway, my name is Marnise Nicole. I am an acrylic painter, and I am out.